Welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth always matters. Your host is Charlie, the country conservative. Now on with the show.
Welcome, everyone, to the Conservative Viewpoint. I'm your host, Charlie, the country conservative. Now, today we're going to dive deep into some critical issues that are shaping our world. So buckle up because we're about to dissect the latest headlines with a conservative lens. Now, more than 6 months have passed since Hamas militants attacked Israel and seized over 250 hostages in Gaza. Now, the exact number of captives still remains a shroud of mystery. The U.S. and Israel officials grapple with the uncertainty, making it challenging to negotiate a ceasefire deal and secure the release of these innocent men, women, and children. Families suffer, and an international effort still has Hamas drags its feet, seemingly indifferent to the lives of the Palestinian people. Their refusal to accept hostage ceasefire deal reveals the true colors. They started this war and appears content with perpetuating the conflict. Now, meanwhile, the International Crime Court, or ICC, looms over the political landscape. Rumors swirl that arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and other senior military officials could be imminent. Now, the ICC investigates possible war crimes committed during the Hamas conflicts. Well, neither Israel nor the United States recognize the court's jurisdiction. These warrants could expose Israeli officials to arrest and risk abroad, especially in Europe. It's a high-stakes game, and Netanyahu vows to defend Israeli rights to the self-defense against any ICC attempts to undermine it. And now the political arena heats up once more. New polls show former President Donald Trump ahead of Biden in the hypothetical matches. Trump leads by a huge margin, and Biden probably doesn't even know or have a clue of what's going on. But the battle lines are drawn, both candidates facing challenges. Trump edges could resonate with voters who yearn for his unapologetic conservatism, while Biden seeks to regain lost ground, which he won't. The nation watches closely as Election Day approaches, and a turnout becomes a critical factor. So buckle up, America. It's going to be a wild ride. Now, that's what I have for you today on the Conservative Viewpoint. So remember, we're here to cut through the noise and bring you the unvarnished truth. So let's get this show on the road. How you doing, guys? I hope you guys are going to having a good night. I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. First off, I want to ask you guys to please check out my Rumble page at Country Conservative. Don't forget to follow me. Give me them thumbs up. That helps my channel grow. It also helps get the truth out. Now, people, you don't forget to share my videos with your friends, your family, even your liberal friends. Maybe they'll learn something. Even live stream episodes, don't forget to share those, because that's where most of the truth is going to come, that we can get more information out to you on these live streams. Because November 5th is coming up on us quick, and we have to get people out to vote for the Republicans. And not saying that they're the total answer, but they are the answer to get us back on track. And I say this on every video, every live stream, everything. We need them for now. Let's get them back in there. Let's get Trump in there to get this country back on the track that we need it to be on. But if you have any questions or comments, please, you can email me at conservativeviewpoint@yahoo.com. If you have any questions, comments, or whatever, please don't hesitate to email me. So let's get this started. Now, you know what I'm going to do first here? I am going to, quiet. I am going to put the link up here. If any one of you guys want to join in, ask a question, or whatever, you can click on this link It'll bring you live onto my channel, and it'll let you join in. And I'm going to do one more here. See if it comes up. Here it goes. And I got Facebook on here too. And my new YouTube page did not go, so I can't do that one. But I had a new YouTube page, and for some reason it did not fly. I don't see it coming up here, so we'll see what happens. But first off, we're going to get this. Hamas released video footage of American hostages. Now, on Saturday, Hamas released the video footage of the hostages and to show that they're still alive. But I wouldn't trust that video. They're terrorists. They could have done it weeks ago, and have already had it done or something, done something to them. And they're just using this as propaganda. But now I do have a video for you to watch. It's 46 seconds long, and it's about them talking about the hostages. So I want you to take a look at this.
Good evening. Hamas has released another propaganda video which cannot be independently verified, showing two hostages, including 64-year-old Israeli-American Keith Siegel. This as family and friends demand the time is now to strike a deal.
Every week, protests grow louder and angrier, giving demonstrators out on the streets tonight fresh impetus. A new Hamas propaganda video showing Keith Siegel and Omri Miran speaking under duress. Loved ones fear time is running out for a deal ahead of an expected invasion of Rafah, which is already under regular bombardment.
Now, this was in a 3-minute video. The American citizens said that they are hoping for a hostage deal that would be able to set them and others free. While the video is not dated, one of the Americans say that he's been captive for 202 days, while the other mentioned the Passover holiday, indicating that the videos were shot recently. But with the U.S. having an installed president like Joe Biden, nothing's going to get done. Nothing's going to get negotiated for the release of these hostages because Joe Biden is a worthless, pathetic coward and will not tell people or other countries what they're going to do. So I hope the other families of these people find another way to get their families home. Unfortunately, you cannot count on the United States government and the Biden administration to do anything for us. They are for themselves. That's it. They let our enemies run all over us. And no matter what you do, it doesn't change. That's why we got to get out and vote come November. Oops, let me get back to this for a second. Sorry about that. But that's always what it does with the Biden administration. You can't count on it for anything. But now we're going to get into General Petraeus to Newsmax. U.S. Israel won't let Iran get nukes. Now, I hate to tell you this, but Iran is days away from having a nuke or a nuclear material needed to create their own nuclear weapon. So who's going to stop them? Not Joe Biden, because he gave them billions of dollars to support terrorism and to create the nuclear material needed for the nuclear weapon. So the question is, how long would it take them to weaponize it? Well, there's a lot of debate about that. The bottom line is, though the Iranians are closer to a nuclear weapon than any time in our past because of Joe Biden's failures, this is another out of so many reasons to get out and vote in November and get Donald Trump back in the White House, because he will put a stop to this within the first year that he is back in the office. Mark my words. Now, with all this going on in Israel, we have terrorist sympathizers at our college campuses, destroying property on these campuses. Anti-Israel protesters cost colleges millions of dollars in property damage while major donors are backing out. Anti-Israel and campuses and or vandalism have targeted dozens of these college campuses, costing millions of dollars in estimated damages as prominent donors say, we're done supporting you. One of the colleges in California, State Polytechnic University of Humboldt, closes down their campus on Saturday due to the ongoing occupation of Simeon Halls and Nelson Halls, as well as continued challenges with individuals breaking the law in these areas and the buildings and the quad. If these terrorist sympathizers are breaking the law and causing all this damage, they need arrested and charged, expelled from school forever. But you won't see that happening because this is what the Democrats like to see. This is what the Democrats run on. When it comes to election time, they love violence and mayhem. This is what the Democrats do. Now, I forgot, I want to get to this real quick, and I did not get this into my show today. But this comes from Judicial Watch. Biden, and you guys might have seen this, but Biden Justice Department refuses to release audio of Biden's special counsel interview, cites Biden's privacy. Now, this is what gets me, because I was just reading through this article real quick, and you've got to hear this. And you let me know your opinions in chat if you're going to get the same idea that I got. But listen to this. Judicial Watch announced that the Justice Department has told the court that it will not disclose the audio recordings of special counsel interviews with President Joe Biden in order to protect Biden's privacy interests. The Biden Justice Department informed Judicial Watch and the courts that it would assert exemptions 6 and 7 under the Freedom of Information Act to prevent the release of the 2 audio recordings of Biden's interview with special counsel Hur. Exemption 6 applies to personal and medical files and similar files. Now, that's where I found it interesting, because they're talking about medical information now. So why and how would medical information of his come up in an interview on classified documents? Now, if you guys have any idea, leave your answers in chat. But now we also get into when disclosure of such information would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Now, that's in Exemption 6 of the FOIA Act. Now, Exemption 7 applies to records or information compiled for law enforcement purposes, the disclosure of which could reasonably be accepted to constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Now, what is personal about this? Because it's supposed to be public. Donald Trump's, all of his stuff is out there. There's no exemptions for him. But now they're going to tell, the DOJ is going to tell the court what they're doing, and the court not tell them to kiss my ass. You're going to give it out and put it out because this is public information. I'm not getting all this. Now, the Judicial Watch filed its lawsuit on March 11th of this year against the Justice Department in the U.S. District Court of District Columbia, which makes sense. The Department of Justice failed to respond to February 2020 FOIA request for records of all special counsel interviews of President Biden. But they did give a redacted transcript of the Biden interview that was released on April 15th. Now, tell me, doesn't that sound like they're covering up for this demented idiot? And Hur was definitely right when he was a demented old fool. Oh, now what did he say? He was a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, and decided to decline to charge Biden with a serious felony because of that reason. He said that Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. A man is not a well-meaning nothing, and he's sure as hell not sympathetic. He's a simpleton, but that he no sympathetic. But this gets me because this corrupt DOJ can sit there and tell a court what they're going to do. And when I read the part about it's in DC and the DC courts, well, that makes sense because they're all corrupt down there. But they need to push this out. I hope Judicial Watch does, and they're not ones to back down from a fight. So I'm hoping that they do get this and keep fighting it to get this out, because you know there's stuff in there that they don't want you to see, or they wouldn't be hiding this no matter what. And I can't wait to see how this comes. But this is new. I just got this earlier today after I got the show ready. So I wanted to bring that to you guys real quick. So if you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to go in there. Don't forget about the link in chat and all in Facebook and Twitter, X, all of them, Rumble chat. There's a link in there if you want to ask a question or make a comment live on the air. Just go ahead and leave it. Click on that link and it'll bring you right into me, and I'll let you in and you can ask your question. But if not, we're going to get into the next thing here. See if it'll come up. Now let's try this. Okay, they both wanted to come up. There we go. Now we'll move on to the International Crime Court, moving it to indict Netanyahu, Israeli leader, for war crimes, for protecting his people and his country. This is and you heard that they said that they don't recognize this group, this court. The International Crimes Court, or ICC, is preparing arrest warrants for senior Israeli officials for alleged war crimes, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a revelation that has drawn silence, if not acceptance, from the Biden administration. Now, go figure it out, huh? Now, I got a little video here. It's about a minute, 50 seconds long, and they're talking about the arrest of Netanyahu. So take a look at this real quick.
Raf, I do want to ask you about one other piece of news we've got here. NBC News learning that Israel is concerned that the International Criminal Court could soon issue an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as other senior Israeli officials. What is the background on this? What are you hearing?
Right. So an Israeli official tells me this morning that Israel is concerned those arrest warrants could come potentially as early as this week. Prime Minister Netanyahu, the defense minister, potentially senior Israeli officials. We asked the International Criminal Court about this. They said that they would not comment on any potential future arrest warrants, but they have confirmed that they have opened up an investigation into the situation in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. This Israeli official tells me that Israel is working through diplomatic channels to try to make sure that those warrants are not issued. It is not clear at this point whether the court also intends to issue warrants for the arrest of senior Hamas leaders, which is a possibility. Now, this would not lead to the immediate arrest of Netanyahu and others, but it could make it potentially quite difficult for the Israeli prime minister to travel to Europe, to travel to other countries that are signatories to the International Criminal Court, because in theory, those countries could find that they have an obligation to arrest the prime minister. This would put Prime Minister Netanyahu in the same category as Vladimir Putin, who had an arrest warrant issued against him for alleged war crimes committed in Ukraine. We should say, Savannah, the International Criminal Court is separate from the International Court of Justice, which is right now hearing a case on whether or not Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, an allegation Israel denies.
Now, sources told the New York Times that charges stem from Israeli preventing delivery of humanitarian aid, which Israeli officials have said they fear just winds up in the hands of Hamas terrorists amid the war started by Hamas, the October 7th terrorist attack of Israel. And they're right, because Gaza is controlled and governed by Hamas. So they control the money, and any money or anything that goes there will be controlled by Hamas. And they do not give two shits about their people at all. Sounds like the Biden administration, doesn't it? The problem I have with this is the report that the ICC will be issuing arrest warrants for Israeli government officials for merely defending the Jewish state against terrorist genocide. And it has been met with silence by the Biden administration. Has anybody surprised? Joe Biden has publicly claimed to support the Jewish state and their right to exist in the face of terrorist opposition that chants from the river to the sea, but reports have outed Joe Biden for privately giving in to progressive anti-Zionist pressure because he does not side with Netanyahu's conservative political views. Now, if you guys can't see this, and I'm not talking about you guys, just talking about these liberal idiots, because Biden is a coward and everything he's doing here is just for votes. There's nothing else. They won't stand up to the protesters, and you definitely won't see this on the news about court hearings like you did with January 6th. And I did read somewhere, and I could not verify it, but they said that they dropped the charges against those terrorist sympathizers in Columbia University that broke into the building and was occupying that hall that they were in. Now, I couldn't verify it. Now, if any of you guys out there can verify that, the only thing I could find is that they're going to be expelled from school. Now, if you guys can verify that the charges were dropped, give me a quick comment in chat and let me know if you guys see something. Well, I got my video pulled down off of Facebook for some reason. I don't know why. That's weird. Okay, let's keep going here. If you guys can verify that, let me know. But Joe Biden and the Democrat Party are nothing but corrupt pieces of garbage that need voted out come November. No matter what. So now I got to go find out after I'm done here and see why Facebook pulled my video down, because I don't have anything on there that could be against their whatever you code, a code of conduct or whatever the hell it is. But now we're going to get into now, you know me, I can't go an episode without talking about the border. So we're going to go start with the senators' renewed scrutiny of border officers, their authority to search American phones when you're crossing the border. Now, a group of senators is pressing Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas for more information on border officers' broad authority to search travelers' phone and other electronic devices without a warrant or suspicion of a crime. Now, renewed the scrutiny of whether the U.S. government is infringing on America's Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizures. Now, in a letter sent to Mayorkas on Thursday, top Democrats and Republicans on the Senate Homeland Security and Senate Finance Committee, that's a mouthful, asked the department to brief their staff within the next 2 weeks on what data is retained from these searches and how the U.S. government is using this data. What is the purpose of border protection going through American phones and devices in the first place? Not like they're smuggling in drugs in their phones or anything, or what could it be? I have not a clue. If you have your opinion on that, leave me your message in chat, would you? Now, the ability of Customs and Border Protection and Immigration and Custom Enforcement to inspect devices at the country's border crossing, airports, and seaports without a warrant, and under different legal standards than those applicable to law enforcement agencies without border search authority, is distinct. Now, the senator said CBP and ICE are both agencies within the DHS. Now, they should not be able to go through American citizens' phones or any stuff without probable cause, at least. but they should be able to do this to illegal immigrants or criminals because they are not or should not be protected under our laws and shouldn't be entitled to any of our laws until they become legal citizens of this country. And the majority of these people that are coming into this country are not here to become legal citizens of our country at all. Where is that? Hold on one second here. I want to look at something real quick here. Independent voters should vote. Any voters should vote the way they want. Nobody's going to tell anyone how to vote. I'm not telling you to vote for Republicans because I think they're the right answer for the election. And I'm sorry, this is coming from a comment in chat, but I'm only asking you to vote for Republicans because we need to get back on track. Not that I'm telling you how to vote. I think it's a freedom of vote. That's why we have elections, and it's supposed to be a free and fair election. So I don't have a problem with independent voters at all. Okay, now we're going to get back into this. Let me know what you guys think about the Border Patrol going through all your stuff when you're coming through customs. Let me know if you guys think American citizens should be violated like that coming across the borders or not. You can leave them in chat if you want. But now we're going to keep up with the border thing here. And this kind of I found interesting because 140 illegal immigrant criminals that rioted when they charged the border, their charges were dismissed in Texas. Now, when I heard that, it's like, oh, what? In Texas? No way. Because Texas is the most badass state we've got here right now. And they don't take the shit from nobody. Next to Florida and DeSantis, he does a great job, I think. But Texas is like one badass state that don't take no shit from nobody. Now, that's not something, that I would expect. But, yeah, a group of 140 illegal immigrants had their riot charges dismissed by a Texas judge on Monday. The mob of illegal immigrants was arrested after they stormed the border earlier this month, overwhelming the Border Patrol agents. Now, I've got a video here for you. It's like 1 minute, 35 seconds long about the judge dropping the charges on these illegal criminals. So let's take a look at this.
A Texas judge dismissed 140 cases against migrants charged in an alleged riot at the U.S.-Mexican border April 12th. That El Paso County court judge found no probable cause to continue holding the migrants. Heriberto Perez has more.
But 142 were charged with riot participation, and we filed these applications on their behalf, seeking an order from the court saying that there was not probable cause to arrest them and releasing them today.
Chief Public Defender Kelly Childress also said, for the DA's office could be very easy to push an indictment in front of a grand jury for all these migrants because they don't understand the nuances of the law. She added that if the DA's office planned to do that, it will take a quite lack of integrity. Now these 140 migrants out of the 142 will be released from state custody and turned over to federal custody. According to Childress, they still have holds with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. The other two remaining migrants, one is not in state custody, and the other one will now face a different type of criminal offense.
But what we have here is these mass arrests that don't have probable cause.
El Paso County Commissioner David Stout also told me processing any individual could cost up to $3,500. If these 140 plus migrants were set to be charged, it could have cost local taxpayers nearly $500,000. This cost would have been only for processing, not the cost for jailing and additional expenses after the hearings and the courts.
And back here.
Now, you believe this horse shit? No probable cause. Are you kidding me? They break through into our country illegally, which makes them a criminal. And this twit had enough nerves to say there was no probable cause. And the judge agreed. Now, I have a big problem with that. How about you? You guys have a problem with this? They're dropping charges on illegal criminals just to go out and commit more crimes. I don't get it. I don't know how many more reasons we need to vote Democrats out of office come November. I don't even know how I think I can emphasize that enough to get these people out. If we do not get these people out, the Democrats out of office come November, this country is lost. And we are in a world of shit if we do not get this done. But you guys can always leave me a comment and chat. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. We're not supposed to agree on everything. Nobody ever does. But if you agree with me, then you should also leave a comment. Now we're going to get into this. As Representative Keith Self warns U.S. constitutional republic cannot survive a fourth Obama term. Now, do you understand what he meant by the fourth term for Obama? And I'm sure all you guys do, but for you liberals out there, Biden is just continuing off where Obama left off when he left office, destroying the country. And Joe Biden is doing a great job of that. Now, we cannot afford to continue doing this. U.S. global influence is declining under Joe Biden, whose presidency is a continuation of former President Barack Obama's policies. Now, according to Republican Congressman Keith Self, who warned that America could not survive a fourth term, he also blasted Biden's weakening alliance with the Jewish state and the rise of anti-Israel protests on college campuses, which he attributed to socialist ideology fueled by woke academia, which is a true statement if you've ever heard one. Now, while they were advising the children be prepped with conservative values before entering a higher education institutions, these kids, they need smacked in the head to wake them up. Now, if you want to support terrorists, move to their country and get the hell out of the United States, because we don't need you. We don't need the kind of negative stuff. We already have enough people in Congress that are terrorist sympathizers. We sure to hell don't need the kids to be indoctrinated into this, because if Hamas, and when Hamas gets into this country, and they will be looking like this, and I told this on the other videos too, that they will be looking for the people that are involved in these campus riots, and they will try to coerce them to do their bidding. And it happens all the time. This is something we've got to watch, and this is why we've got to get this stopped. We've got to get the mass deportation of all these people the hell out of here and back to their country or wherever the hell they want to go, but not here. Period. Oh, right. Well, we're moving right along here. Oh, now we're going to get into some poll numbers. Now, it's hard for me to do this, but I watch CBS. And the voters are split on Biden, Trump. Economy is everybody's top concern, right? And it's so hard for me to watch these fake news liberal sites, but with what I'm going to show you now, you'll see what I mean. But now, you know what? I'm going to let you look at this first poll. What is it? It's only 34 seconds. But I'm going to let you watch this first because I have another one right after this. And I want you to see the differences that a month makes on a lame news media site on this polling. So, and see what the difference is. I want you to watch this. So take a look at this.
We begin an important week in the 2024 election in which both President Biden and former President Trump are expected to win hundreds of delegates in Super Tuesday contests in more than 15 states. On Thursday, Mr. Biden will make his State of the Union address. Our CBS News poll out this morning shows the former president with a 4-point edge over the current president among likely voters nationwide. That is Trump's largest general election lead yet in our surveys this cycle.
Okay, now, like I said, that was from a month ago. Now, when I downloaded this video, this next one, it was 16 hours. So that's been some time ago now. Then it's only 13 seconds long, but you're going to see the difference between then and now on a fake news lame media channel like CBS. And wait till you see the difference. It's just a month makes, or these polls are just made up. So take a look at this.
New CBS News polling shows Biden and Trump neck and neck in 3 states that could decide the 2024 presidential race. Biden has a narrow lead over Trump in Michigan, while Trump is slightly ahead in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin.
Now, you see what I mean by the differences in a month about these people? Well, now we've got a different one, and there's another hard one for me to do, and it's a CNN. And that was a killer for me to have to go through and check these sites out. I cannot stand going through this. But I'm going to let you look at the CNN poll and look at the difference that we got. Trump's lead by 9 points as the U.S. views Biden as a failure. Now, we all know that, but you got to take a look at this poll. This is crazy, and it's coming out of CNN. It's about 1:30, so take a look at this.
And Priscilla, we're also getting some new polling out today on the 2024 race. Walk us through what this means for the president.
Well, it's still very much a close race, but again, Donald Trump showing in these polls that he continues to hold an advantage over President Joe Biden. Now, according to these numbers that you see there on your screen, 49% of registered voters choose Donald Trump, and then only 43% for Biden. Now, earlier in the year, Biden's numbers were around 45%, so those numbers are holding steady. And there are issues that are dogging the president and that his team is well aware of. One of them being the handling of Israel's war against Hamas that is unfolding in Gaza. Now, you've seen the protesters that have been happening across campuses. And according to our polling here, there is major disapproval over the president's handling of the Israel-Hamas war, with 71% disapproving. And then 2 is the economy. And this has been an issue that the White House and the Biden campaign have tried to convey to voters that it is heading in the right direction. But we are still seeing in these numbers that there is still quite a bit of a hesitation over whether that's indeed true, with registered voters here only 34% approving of the president's handling of the economy. These are 2 issues, Jessica, that are going to be front of mind for voters. That is what Democratic strategists anticipate at this point.
Not only does Trump hold a near majority support at 49%, but he leads Biden by a whopping 6 percentage points into a head-to-head poll released by CNN. And I'm surprised that CNN even admitted this stuff. But Trump's lead expands to 9 percentage points when the full field is considered. Now, what I mean by full field is Trump's at 42%, Biden at 33%, Robert F. Kennedy is at 16%, Cornel West is at 4%. Green Party candidate Jill Stein is at 3%. And also Trump dominates Biden by 32 points head to head, 65% to 30% among those who consider the economy deeply important to their vote. Now, this is what the Democrats vote, or their voters, how they prioritize according to their poll. Now, protecting democracy is at 67%. Abortion, of course, 54%. Economy, 52%. They don't believe the economy. Abortion is more important to them. Gun control, 51%. You knew that was going to be up there from those liberal idiots. Healthcare, 49%. They put that down here. Now, that's what the Democrats find the most important. And that's the most important thing right now in this country. You know, that's pretty pathetic. Now, this is what the Republicans voters care most about. And remember, this come from CNN. So, That's crazy. But now the Republicans believe 79% of the economy, border security 71%, which is true, crime 65%, and democracy 54%. Now that's more like it. That's where everyone needs to be. But guess what? I think these polls are a joke personally, but because the SSRS polled, they only polled at 1,212 people, adults. Now get this, 967 of them are registered voters. Now, why the hell would you take a poll like this and keep your mouth out of stuff if you're not willing to get out and vote to help the country? Because you're not doing any good by running your mouth and not getting out and vote. And you know what I mean? April 18th through the 23rd is when they ran these results. And they have a margin of error, plus or minus 3.4%. I think this is a joke. They shouldn't hold a poll unless you got 20 or 30,000 people taking a poll, because you can't get a true poll number off of 1,200 people. I'm sorry. Out of how many billions of people we have in our country? Get the hell out of here. So I would take these polls with a grain of salt. These are just to give us an idea of how people are thinking. So that's what we're getting out of this. We're definitely not getting the exact numbers. You never will. So we're going to move on to Mark Meadows. You guys know who he is. He was the chief of staff for Trump for his last year in office. But Mark Meadows asked the Supreme Court to recognize his just following orders defense, but a right-wing judge wasn't buying it. Mark Meadows, a former Republican member of Congress, served with Trump's chief of staff in the final year of the White House administration. He was criminally charged alongside Trump in a separate case brought by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office in Atlanta, Miss Piggy herself, over a plot to erase now installed Vice President's so-called win in 2020. Now, the judge has denied Meadows' attempt to move his criminal case to federal court, which could be more favorable in legal territory. Now, his lawyers have learned that the supremacy clause of the Constitution, which protects the federal government from the meddling of state-level officials. Now, despite the lower court's losses, Meadows nonetheless asked the Supreme Court to recognize that the president's subordinates should have immunity from criminal prosecution in both federal or state-level cases because they were just doing their job by following the president's instruction. Now, which I know that the military, you cannot disobey an order. So do we consider this the same thing? Let me know what you guys think in chat. Do you think the people should be in trouble for following an order that a president of the United States gives them? Let me know what you guys think. Just yes or no. Do you think they should be held accountable or no? But now all these court hearings are going to set a dangerous precedent because of everything these Democrats are trying to do to Trump. The past Democrats have done the same thing, or even worse, and nothing has happened to them. So now, if you're going to charge Trump and find him guilty of stuff that he's done as president, are we going to go back and get the other presidents that have done things wrong, which not too many of them alive right now? So, but are we going to do that? That's what the Supreme Court justices are going to have to take into consideration, because the presidents have to do things that no one would want to do, but it's kind of necessary for the security of our nation. So, got to take that into consideration also. Now we're getting into something that is kind of looking a little suspicious, because the new COVID is coming out now, and it's not COVID, but it is the bird flu, and it's discovered in grocery milk. Now, do we trust what the FDA is saying? I sure the hell don't trust them at all. But the latest avian flu development it was reported this week that the U.S. Drug Administration said it has detected viral particles of H5N1 avian influenza in milk purchased at grocery stores. Now, I have a video, it's about 1 minute 57 seconds long, about the milk in the flu in the milk. So I want you to take a watch of this and listen real close to what they have to say about this.
This morning, the FDA insists the nation's milk supply is safe after fragments of the bird flu virus were found in some milk samples. The Washington Post reports the fragments were found in samples taken from grocery stores in the U.S., but officials have not said where.
This may indicate that the outbreak among dairy cows is wider than what we thought. As of right now, this does not pose any threat for the individual, meaning fragments of a virus, if it's found in your milk, can actually cause disease.
The FDA says the commercial milk supply is safe in part because of pasteurization, which heats milk to a specific temperature for a period of time. Officials saying even if virus is detected in raw milk, pasteurization is generally expected to eliminate pathogens to a level that does not pose a risk to consumer health. In Ohio, where it's believed the virus is coming from other states, infected cattle are removed from the production line.
That milk is not ending up in the milk supply.
Bird flu cases have been detected in cattle in at least 8 states, from Idaho to North Carolina. In Texas, a farm worker was infected, believed to be only the second human case ever in the U.S.
As of right now, we don't have any cases of human-to-human transmission. But if a flu virus such as H5N1 mutates, and it's able to spread from animals to humans, this could lead to more illness and potentially a flu outbreak.
For the everyday consumer who has milk in their coffee, has cereal for breakfast, is it safe to continue business as usual?
I would recommend that anyone who is using milk on a daily basis uses pasteurized milk, and you are good to go.
Again, the FDA recommends that you do not consume raw milk or dairy products that have not been pasteurized. The agency says more testing is underway, including in fertilized eggs. Results are expected in the coming days or weeks.
Now, while the FDA was cautioning that they believe the milk is still safe to drink, others are sounding an alarm. But maybe I missed something or I did not hear him. I am hard of hearing. But I did not hear him say the words that the milk was safe to drink. Now, did you guys hear that? I did not hear that. Let me know in chat if you guys heard him say that, because I did not hear it. So, but I think you guys will decide if you want to take the chance to drink the milk or not. It's all up to you. But I don't know. It's just funny how now a new virus is coming out, and I keep getting things about the flu, the bird flu and stuff, like 3 or 4 emails a day about this. And they're worried about that, and then they're worried about it jumping onto other things. And this is just kind of coincidental, getting closer and closer to election time. And now we've got something else coming out. Kind of makes me funny. Got to think about it a little bit there, huh? Now, this is the last thing on my agenda. Again, is experts call EVs a direct transfer of wealth from gas-powered vehicles owners to EV owners. Now, I brought this up yesterday, I think, in the episode yesterday, and maybe one before that, because again, Joe Biden and the Biden administration pushed for EV domination. It is not just unrealistic, it's unsustainable. It is also a direct wealth transfer, according to some experts. Brett Bennett, a policy director for Life Powered, suggests that the cost for an electric vehicles are shouldered by those who prefer gas-powered motor vehicles like you and I, and that the increased cost of these traditional cars now balance the cost of EV subsidies. Let me know if you guys are going to buy one of these or not. Bennett says that $7,500 federal tax credit for EVs is just a tiny part of the government's overall support for EV production. He explained that when factoring in the shared infrastructure cost, zero emission vehicle mandates, which imposed additional expenses on automakers, the federal fuel economy regulation only effectively subsidizes each EV vehicle by approximately $20,000. Now, however, higher electric costs aren't the only problem that the EVs are causing, especially in California. Wright says that California is sacrificing the reliability of its electrical grid for the ability to charge EVs, leading to brownouts and blackouts. Now that's going to happen everywhere because there's no infrastructure, and this lousy infrastructure bill that Biden pushed through will not pay for everyone to upgrade their electrical system that is required to run these EVs. Now, people are calling the EV push one of the biggest energy blunders ever made. But experts warn that in the end, it won't even matter because researchers have run models that conclude that EVs contribute little to stopping the fake climate change hoax. Instead, he says the only thing EVs will do is make everyday Americans pay more for energy costs and to car dealerships. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to buy one of these electric vehicles if you're mandated to? Because I sure the hell will not, because it does not serve me, because I tow a fifth wheel and my diesel truck can pull it. But there's no electric vehicle out there that is going to pull that fifth wheel. My fifth wheel is like 12,000 pounds, 14,000 pounds, something like that. And I saw a lady when I had my truck at the shop getting some minor stuff done to it. She was sitting in her car, and it was going to take like 4 or 5 hours to charge just for her to get home to charge it fully. Now, my neighbors have a Jeep hybrid, and it gets 300 miles to a charge and the gas. It has to be plugged in every night to charge the battery. And so what's their electric bill going to be like? And he told me that it takes like, what did he tell me? 8 to 10 hours on a 110 just to plug in, like, you plug your toaster into in the wall, because you could get a 240 volt, 220 volt, whatever you want to call it, and put a big cord on it, and it still takes 8 hours to charge. So what's your electric bill going to be like if you have to plug this thing every night and charge it? I wouldn't want that, because now you've got a high car payment and now you're going to have a high electric bill. So where's the offset? And if there's no savings in this stupid climate bullshit, then why do it? It's not going to help anybody. Okay, that's all I have for you today. So I want to thank you for tuning in to today's Conservative Viewpoint. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the critical issues we've discussed. The plight of those held captive in Gaza remains a stark reminder of the ongoing conflict. Families anxiously await their loved ones' return, and the world watches as negotiations continue. We stand with the innocent victims, hoping for a resolution that brings them home safely. And the International Criminal Court's pursuit of Israeli officials raised eyebrows. Well, some see it as justice, others view it as an overreach. Regardless, the stakes are high, and the outcome could impact international relations. So stay informed as the story unfolds. Now, the 2024 election looms large. President Donald Trump leads in the polls, signals a desire for his brand of conservatism. Meanwhile, Joe Biden aims to regain ground. So let's see what happens. So buckle up, Americans. The battle for the White House is on. And again, I ask you to check out my Rumble page at Country Conservative. Share my videos with your friends and family, even your liberal buddies. We got to get the truth out to people, because November 5th, general elections is coming up real fast. So remember, our commitment is to provide you with the unfiltered news and analysis. So until tomorrow, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep the conservative flames burning. Don't forget to join me tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, for another great episode of the Conservative Viewpoint. So until then, have a good night, everyone.